Alan Stratton from Woodturning. It's always time to finish a bowl. I've got many in my inventory just drying and waiting to be turned. This one is Aspen. I turned it wet many years ago. Put it in a paper sack, and what happened? It grew mold. It grew fungus. Oh no, is it ruined? Well, actually that's called spalting. So rather than throwing this bowl out, I'm anxious to turn it. Now, a couple of precautions. I have brushed off all the loose mold, and I will be wearing a dust mask on this and keeping my air filtration going. But let's turn this bowl and see what comes of it.
I'm mounting this bone-dry Aspen bowl upside down on my chuck with the jaws closed. Yes, the jaws will mar the inside surface, but I'll turn that away very shortly. I'm holding it in place with the live center placed on the mark left from turning it wet. Then on to turn it round again and shape the exterior. I'll do as much of the exterior now as I can since the bowl is firmly held. I just need to trim the old tenon just a little, not too much, or the tenon will be too small. When I rough turned the wet bowl, it was very wet. I put the wet bowl in a brown paper bag and put it away. Much later, when I opened the bag, the bowl was covered with mold or fungi. I cannot tell which. I brushed it all off and left the bowl without a bag on the shelf until now. At the Oregon Woodturning Symposium, I attended a session on spalting wood. Maybe I have unintentional spalting. I'm anxious to see how it looks. As I'm using the gouge, I'm seeing some very bad tear out. Even shear scraping is leaving severe tear out, so I'm switching to a scraper to get the surface as good as I can before sanding. Now to flip the bowl around to work on the inside. My tenon barely fits. Here I'm starting with my favorite bowl gouge, and again the tear out is pretty bad. So I freshly sharpened my heavy bowl scraper for the last bit of shaping. For the sides, I'm tipping the scraper to reduce the surface area in contact with the bowl. Otherwise, it will catch. I've seen better scrapers for the bowl sides. I'm working on making one. I'm also supporting the outside of the bowl with my left hand. This seems to dampen the vibration and leave a better scrape. Now I've mounted the bowl on my homemade coal jaws to turn the foot. I'm gently cutting off the tenon and blending the foot into the flow of the sides. I cannot turn the speed up very high, so my gouge is not cutting very well. Then I'm switching to a sharp scraper for the final touches before a dunk into walnut oil. Finally, I'm buffing the finish up to a nice shine. I buffed the exterior with 3 buffing wheels on an arbor. For the bowl's interior, that setup does not work. Instead, I'm using Beal bowl buffs mounted to a spindle extender. As for the shiny finish, it looks nice, but I'm still undecided whether I prefer the matte finish of walnut oil or the shiny finish of walnut oil and buffed. I'm wearing both face shield and dust mask. Buffing wheels can still throw off material that I don't want in my face, eyes, or lungs. Back when I roughed the bowl, I was skeptical that the Aspen would be a pretty bowl. Hence, I did not rush to finish it. However, I liked the coloring from the mold or fungus growth on the wet bowl. It turns a fairly plain bowl into one with very interesting color and patterns. This one's definitely a keeper. That's all for this video. Please subscribe to both my website and YouTube channel. Please always wear your full face shield. Goggles are simply not enough. Till next time, this is Alan Stratton from As Wood Turns.